Across Africa, innovation in the fintech space is at an all-time high as consumers increasingly rely on mobile financial services and startups roll out newer digital financial solutions. Amid the fintech boom, new frontiers are being explored by African entrepreneurs in this sector, one of which is payroll and corporate benefits management. In this subsegment, a number of startups have sprung up, each with similar but distinct business models looking to tap into the human resources management market on the continent. Joining us to discuss further is Favour Ogunniranye, who is an analyst with Financial Derivatives Company Limited. Good morning, Favour. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to start with payroll tech, as it's called. What's the excitement there?
Thank you for having me, Ritus. So for payroll, I mean, with the incorporation of technology, it is definitely a good thing because if you look at the manual process of actually, doing this payroll thing, you see that it involves the HR preparing schedules and then undergoes series of approvals, and the speed of that is all dependent on if these employees involved are actually available. So, and that can lead to delay in payments and stuff like that. But so that's how technology comes in to, because if you look at big organizations with about 100 employees, having to do all of that is actually very tedious. So that's where technology comes in to speed up the process, and in terms of accuracy as well, because that's how those things like that lead to fraud.
Fraud,
and because it's prone to human errors, right. It's also prone to ghost workers and stuff like that. So this helps HR to be more productive, on-time compensation as well, because that's very important for employees like us, and and a highly motivated employee is actually a competitive advantage for companies. And also in terms of budgeting and forecasting for the new year or for the next year, organizations have, because of the accurate record keeping, organizations have some sort of insight to draw from that. So those are the advantages that come with incorporating technology in payroll.
Cool stuff. From tech to fashion, I think this Dior flagship store that's, I guess, being renovated. What was the motivation behind that? 'Cause I think it took about 2 years to get to where they're reopening tomorrow.
So the CEO of Dior is actually known in the luxury industry for, forward-thinking approach, and that has actually helped the fashion and accessories business of the company. And so when he got appointed in 2018, after I think about 100 days, he came up with the idea of this project in order to, just provide something that is unique to the brand. And that's what bettered the whole thing, because there was also a focus on e-commerce and technology as well. And so that involved the use of digital payments and the whole, sophisticated interior design. And it also boils down to him actually having to, provide, kind of lay down his own legacy and his own impact into the business as well. So, and even though it's quite ambitious for them to actually, tear down the Avenue Montaigne business.
Montagne, as it's pronounced,
business. Yeah. But then it's also expected that it is going to return about 10 million euros annually. So I guess that's a good thing.
Great stuff. MTN and the metaverse. What do you make of this buying digital plots of land for the company?
Well, this whole digital universe is meant to be somewhat a replica of the real world, and that involves land. So this virtual land is just digital plots of land that exist in a 3D online space. And it's also expected to be utilized for events, for concerts, virtual runway fashion shows. And with this whole pandemic still somewhat there is no restriction in terms of how many people that can attend. So there's that, and there's this whole future about, everything being digital. So I guess MTN going into that is somewhat a first mover's advantage, especially in Ubuntu land, which is meant to, I believe is meant to house, Africa's, include Africa into this whole metaverse thing. So I see it as a first mover's advantage, and that's why they're investing in real estate, for themselves to, cater for all the stuff they have in mind. Now that MTN is somewhat a full technology company rather than just telcos, or they could also lease it to other people, and it forms part of rent payments, rent income for them. So that's what MTN is doing in terms of virtual real estate investing. And for the free calls, it's a really good thing considering what's happening right now especially for Nigerians in Ukraine who are unable to, get in touch with loved ones. At least even though they cannot be there be with us here physically, at least they're able to speak with people that they need to speak with. And it's just interesting to see how the private sector has been able to help out, and not just telcos, but also, other private sectors as well.
Great stuff. What do you make of the Fanatics valuation, the $27 billion valuation, and I think they're a merchandising company?
Yeah, so it is an online licensed retailer of sportswear equipment, sportswear, and also merchandise. And I think when I saw it, it's quite interesting because I didn't think merchandise was such a booming, market and industry. But then you see that the company is also incorporating NFTs as well. They're also going into sports betting, and this sports betting industry, I think it recorded about $1.5 billion in revenue in 2020, and that's expected to go to $6 billion in 2023. So I think these are the things that investors are looking at, and that's why they are able to successfully, raise those funds to actually push this business forward and enter into other markets.
Very quickly, in about 30 seconds, the payroll tech, just back to that. You see growth, further growth in payroll tech on the African continent?
Yes, because if you look at remote work, you could expect a lot of companies who are going to employ people remotely to start doing the whole payroll thing manually, because it has to be done swiftly and with accuracy as well. So I think it's something that is going to experience much growth with the trends of how the workspace is going.
Indeed, and more competition, which works out for everybody. Favour Ogunniranye, analyst with Financial Derivatives Company Limited. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right.